Shalom, Israel. This brother got a liar, WFI, St. Louis camp. This is an admonition to the brothers, to the sisters, to all of Yasha Allah. Do not forget, that when the Most High increases you, in these things, right? Increases you, whatever He increases you with, whether it be success in this world, whether it be, a job. He increases you in your finances. He increases you in whatever the Lord increases you with. Hey, don't forget that it's the Most High that do these things. Right? I'll kick it off with the first and foremost. I gotta give a call to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashakum, Malaki Yahushai, and that's all praises to the Most High God, who people ignorantly call God, whose name is Yahweh, and the name of His Son Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Shalom to all of the brothers out there that's out there and bound, being steadfast, and doing the work of the Lord. Shalom to all of the sisters out there that's married, that's reverencing their husbands, keeping the household, cleaned up, cooking the food for their husbands, reverencing their husbands and teaching the kids good things. Shalom to all the sisters and brothers that's not married as of yet, but they're abstaining from all worldly lusts and concupiscence, and they're doing whatever they can to seek out their own soul salvation with fear and trembling. And shalom to all the mighty children out there that's obeying their parents because they seek eternal life. This is an admonition to not forget. Do not forget. Let me get this precept right fast. It's the book of 1 Timothy. Right? Go to the book of 1 Timothy. Right? It's a lot they got out of these. First Timothy, the 4th chapter. This is the book of 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter, and I'm going to start at verse 13, right? Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, and conversation, and charity, and spirit, and faith, and purity. So we gotta be an example, right? We gotta walk in the spirit of our righteous forefathers, of the believers, of Moses. That's just one of them that everybody should know. Noah, Job, Malachi, Habakkuk, Haggai, Joshua. Joshua had the spirit. We gotta walk in the way of the believers. The Maccabees brothers be willing to die other than to break the Lord's commandments, right? Verse 12. It said we gotta walk in that spirit in everything that we do. All right, verse 12, and it reads, "Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine." Right? So we gotta give attendance to the words of the Lord. Always be ready to hear the words of the Lord. Whether you with your brother or you may be with your sister. They got precepts. They admonishing you with the words of the Most High God. They bringing out the scriptures. Be ready to listen. Don't be one to cut them off and cut out the words of the Lord and you want to speak your own words. You want to hear them talk and what they feel, other than what the Lord said and what He told you to do. So don't be cutting off the words of the Most High. Be ready to give attention to the word, to hear. Because these words that were spoken aforetime are read for our learning through comfort and scriptures of the word, and we can have hope loosely paraphrasing Romans 15:4. You know, it says, "Till I come, give attendance to reading." Right? You gotta read. You gotta hear the reading. Your brother, you know what I'm saying, or your sister, or whatever is going on. Hey, you read. Hey, give attention to that reading. Hey, watch the videos, because brothers have daily exhortation videos. This is why brothers, hey, drop daily videos, day in and day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. You know, hey, until Yahweh Shai come back to destroy, hey, to the to send that sword to sever. You know what I'm saying? The wicked. You know what I'm saying? Hey, to divide the wheats and the tares, man. Hey, brothers is constantly giving exhortation and admonishment, man. Adhere to reading. Take heed to it. Hey, to doctrine. Read. All right, let me get this precept right quick. This is the book of Second Thessalonians, verse number First Thessalonians, 3rd chapter, and verse number 15, right? 2 Thessalonians 3 and verse 15, right? It said, "Yet count on him not as an enemy, but admonish him as a brother." Right? You know, hey, we gotta, hey, you might have a brother or a sister, you know what I'm saying, or a Jake or an Eve. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they don't understand. Jake and Eve don't really understand that they Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Hey, even brothers and sisters in this thing, they might have a different understanding. Hey, you know, hey, not even just that. Hey, you know what I'm saying? They might not. They might be just coming into this truth. Hey, admonish all your brothers and sisters as brothers and sisters. Hey, we are all Israel at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And we are all Israel at the end of the day. And we gotta, you know what I'm saying, admonish each other. You say, because, hey, admonition, hey, a lot of our brothers don't know. A lot of our sisters don't know. We gotta admonish them. We gotta teach them. We gotta talk to them. We gotta be in that spirit. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be constantly giving heed to reading. You know? We gotta constantly be trying to make our... It's like, let me get this precept right quick, too. We gotta constantly be trying to, hey, renew our spirit day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, as we grow in this thing, as the Most High gives us an increase through His power and His mercy that He gives to us. It's the book of 2 Corinthians, right? 4th chapter, right? Chapter 4, verse 16. "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." And we gotta have our spirit renewed day by day. And how can we get our spirit renewed day by day? By adhering to the reading, by listening to exhortation and admonition. We gotta have our spirit renewed. You know what I'm saying? At the admonition of this word. And through the patience and comfort, we can have hope. All these things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. As a matter of fact, let me just get that out so I can stop chopping and butchering that scripture, because that's the mighty scripture. We got to remember this, that this what these scriptures are for. They are written for our learning. This is the book of Romans, right? The book of Romans, it's like 15th chapter and verse number 4. "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." So we got to listen to this admonition, this exhortation, these things that was written aforetime, because they was written for our learning, for exhortation, for admonition, through patience and faith, it's like it, that we can have hope. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Because we all don't know our own way. You know what I'm saying? If a man go his own way, it leads to death. According to Proverbs, the 14th chapter, verse 12. There's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the ways thereof are death. You know? So we gotta seek these scriptures out. We gotta go and let the words of the Lord be true and every man a liar, Romans 3 and 4. You know? We can't forget, right, that it's the Most High, you know, that increases us in this truth, that brought us into this truth, that brought us out of the darkness into his marvelous light, according to 1 Peter 2 and 9. Alright? It's the book of, let me get this. This is the book of Deuteronomy, right? Deuteronomy, 8th chapter. Yeah, I'm going to start, right, at verse number 11. And it reads, beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy God, and not keeping his commandments, and his judgments, and his statutes, which I command thee this day. This is Moses talking to Yasha'Allah, Israel, before we go into that land that he promised to our forefathers. We gotta beware that we don't forget his commandments and his judgments, which he has given us in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. And don't forget in Exodus, the 19th chapter, in verse 8, that everything that the Most High God said that we would do. Don't forget that when we go into the land, that Moses told us that don't forget that when we go into the land that was promised to us, that was promised to our forefathers, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The land that flowed with milk and honey, when he remembered us in Egypt and he passed over us and smote the Egyptians before our eyes. Don't forget, right? We read on. It said, lest thou, it's like verse 12. We'll read again from the top, verse 11. It says, beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy God, in keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein. Right? Because when we get to getting these new homes, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Getting the good food, you know what I'm saying? Able to eat, you know what I'm saying? And being good mirth, you know, and joy, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? We in great joy, man. And we happy. Then we eating, we got a house to dwell in, we got a roof over our head, we got food in our refrigerator, you know. And we in great mirth, you know what I'm saying? We're happy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't forget that it's the Most High that put that food on your table. Don't forget that it's the Most High that put that roof over your head. Don't forget. Right? 13, verse 13, it said, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, right? And don't forget that when guess what? When you have a good job, you know what I'm saying, and your silver and your gold, you know what I'm saying, it's getting multiplied, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't forget that it's the Most High. You know what I'm saying? They give you these things to be able to provide. They gave you this gold. They gave you this silver. They gave you these finances, right? It said, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahweh thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Hey, it said, hey, let not thy heart. Don't get high-minded. Don't get your heart get lifted up, right? Don't let your heart get lifted up and you forget the Most High. That it's the Most High, the Most High, He brought you out of them slums. Them times where you didn't know what to do, you was bugging out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, tripping about how you gonna pay the rent. Tripping about, hey, if I'm gonna have another job. Hey, how I'm gonna eat. You know, how I'm gonna get some money to wash my clothes. When the Most High brought you out of that lowest state, don't forget, it's the Most High God that brought us out of the house of bondage, right? Don't forget, it's the Most High God that's going to bring us out of bondage again. Yeah, in our captivity. Don't forget, according to Baruch, the third chapter and 8th verse. Don't forget that it's the Most High God that Yahweh Shai is going to come and deliver us. He's going to be our Redeemer, that redeem us from out of this captivity. Don't forget, because we got jobs, because Esau give you options, right? Because Esau gives you options don't mean you free. Because you can't make your own options. You only have to take the options that's presented before you. We are still captive to this day because he could tell you, oh, because you can get a passport, you could go overseas for a minute, but you got to come back, right? Or get extradited back. Just because you could get in the car and go on a road trip to California, because you can get on a plane and go to Puerto Rico, San Juan. Don't forget that you are still a captive to this day. Don't forget that the thing that happened then, you know what? It's like let me get this precept right fast, and I'm going to go back. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, right? The 3rd chapter and verse number 15. It says, that which hath been, right, is now, and that which is to be hath already been. God, it's like it, and God required that which is past. And the Most High God required that which is past, man. And the same thing that happened then is happening now. This Pride Month, these damn folly days, damn idolatry, the witchcraft, the pride of life, the pride of men going and seeking after strange flesh. Don't forget that these things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. The good and the bad and the ugly and the beautiful. These things that was written aforetime, everything that was written in the scripture, everything the Lord said, it was written for our learning. You gotta take the bitter with the sweet. You can't just pick and choose what you want to take. You want to take all the good and then forget about the bad. The same judgment that happened to the wicked then is going to happen now. The same redemption for the righteous that happened then when the Most High God, you know what I'm saying, saved Daniel, preserved Daniel from the lions, gave David the power to defeat Goliath. The same way Samuel got destroyed for seeking after witchcraft and witches and doing divination. These same things is happening now. And the same judgment and the same punishment and the same chastisement is going to happen again. Don't forget that, right? We'll continue to read. It's verse 14. It said, then thy heart be lifted up, right? And thou forget Yahweh thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from out of the house of bondage. And this is the spiritual Egypt, the house of bondage, right? Where our Lord and Savior was slain, all right? Where our dead bodies lie in the streets, according to Revelations, the 11th chapter, 8th verse, right? Don't forget that, right? I'm going to keep saying that because a lot of our people get high-minded because Esau give him a little bit of give him the crumbs of the pie. Give him the crumbs. Hey, take $1 million. Oh, go ahead. All you're gonna do is they're gonna take that $1 million and give it back to him. You know what I'm saying? By spreading genocide and discord among brethren. You know? Smoking weed that he just legalized. Now you guess what? Now he getting now you know what I'm saying? Hey, Esau has legalized narcotics. After the war on drugs, they locked up so many Israelite brothers, Issacharite brothers, you know what I'm saying, Ephraim, you know what I'm saying, hey, Manasseh, you know, Simeon brothers, you know what I'm saying, hey, lock this up. Hey, Asher, lock this up. During the time of war on drugs of President Nixon. During that time, right? And they just for them to turn around in 2023, 2022, 2021 to legalize it. And then guess what? Give you money, stimulus checks, sign your life away for $1 million to be a rapper, to create genocide. So to get still, you giving them that money right back. Buying all the weed, and now guess what? They said that you get they lock you up. Now they get $45,000 off of your body just for being in prison. Y'all brothers and sisters, man, y'all can't forget that it's the Most High God, right? He brought us out of Egypt. He's going to do it again. Don't forget. Don't forget. When you in sin, you're not covered by the blood of the Lord. You're not covered by the blood of Yahweh Shai, man. You're not covered. When you out here sinning willfully, you're not covered. Let me get that out of the book of Hebrews, right? Because these Christians and these in Islam, you know, they tell you, you know what I'm saying, in Christianity, all you got to do is believe, right? Oh, they say, oh yeah, Islam is the fastest growing religion. But they're not telling you to keep no laws, statutes, and commandments. They're telling you to hate yourself. Right? When you go into other religions, you're basically saying that their culture is better than the culture that Most High God has given you. The inheritance, these commandments, these laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? Esau wants you to turn away from the words of the Lord. Esau wants you to turn away from keeping the commandments of the Most High. They are estranged at the womb. They come out the womb speaking lies, according to Psalms, the 53rd chapter, right? It's like the 54th chapter. It's the book of Hebrews, right? Get this quick precept and I'm going to continue to read, right? The book of Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Because when we sin against the Most High God, hey, when we sin against Yahweh, well, Yahweh Shai, hey, the covering of Yahweh Shai's blood is not on us. Right? It's the book of Hebrews, right? The 10th chapter. In verse number 26, right? And it reads, for if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no sacrifice for sins. Hey, so when we out here sinning willfully sinning, going to the church, them telling you to come as you are, say you could be a daggone elemental P, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Man or female, you could be you could feel like you are whoever you are. Just come as you are. You know? They even got an app for tithing. And that has nothing to do with money. Right? Tithing has nothing to do with money. They don't know no commandments. They don't know none of these laws. Or they might, but they go to the daggone church, the daggone school, seminary school, where they teach the pastors to teach to teach the congregation none of the laws and the statutes and commandments of the Lord. I was out there on the road, on the highways and hedges, talking to a young brother, and he said his pastor told him about Moses. You know, his pastor told him about the 10 Commandments, Salakia, and But he didn't teach them about who Moses was. Right? It's madness. It's madness. Right? I'm going to read on. It's the book, Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter, verse 15. It said, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, though brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, right? Hey, the Most High God has brought us, hey, when we ain't have no water, when we ain't have no food, hey, all these fiery serpents and scorpions through the spirit, hey, was trying to, hey, take us out, kill us. These doctrines, you know what I'm saying? Hey, this idolatry we went into before in the wilderness. Hey, he brought us through the wilderness of sin, right? And he fed us, right? He made sure we drank water. We were thirsty and complained and murmured against Moses. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai heard these things, you murmured against the Most High God, the Most High God's servant. You didn't regard Moses. What more Yahweh? When we was in that wilderness, right? It says, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna. Say, hey, when we say we was hungry, he gave us manna. Hey, he rained down, hey, he brought down bread from the heavens, man. From the third heaven, he gave us bread, manna. Right? Say, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, right? Which thy fathers do not, right? Because our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, hey, they didn't know about this because they was gone when Yasharallah came, when the sons of Israel came, when Jacob, when Israel, you know, when Jacob, whose name was changing to Israel, he had died. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he didn't know about the manna. He didn't know about his sons and the 12 tribes that his sons had going into the wilderness. He didn't know about that. They passed away. Right? He gave them all their inheritance. Right? They didn't have to worry about manna, because the Most High God was with them. You know? The Most High God was dealing with them. They had all types of riches. They had food. They had this and that. They didn't have to go through the wilderness. They didn't have to go through this wilderness to get proved, because they was already proved by the Most High. Right? We read again. It says, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, right? Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers do not, that might humble thee, that he might prove thee to do thee good at thy latter end, right? Verse 17, it said, and thou say in thy heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. Hey, you know how Jake is. Eve is, oh, I ain't need nobody. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got this on my own. That damn, I got it out the mud spirit. You ain't getting nothing out the mud. You are mud. You are nothing but dust and ashes to the Most High. You are mud. Didn't the Most High God say in the book of Genesis, in the creation of man, the second chapter, And when he created man, he created him from the mist. And he created the man out of the dust of the earth. Hey, you was mud. I got it out the mud, but you got that damn I got it out. But you got that damn I got it out the mud spirit. You are mud, Jake. You are mud. Don't get high-minded when you feel like, oh, it was because of me because I got these things, right? It's not because of you. Verse 18, it reads, it said, but thou shalt remember Yahweh thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. And it was he, the Most High God, that gave you wealth, that give you this thing, that give you these things, and guess what? To magnify him, to establish his covenant. What it say in the book of 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter? Let's get that out right fast, right? 1 Corinthians, right? 10th chapter, verse 31, right? Oh, Salaki, that's 2 Corinthians, Salaki. 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, right? In verse number 31, it says, whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatever ye do, do all to the glory of God, Yahweh. Do all to the glory of the Most High God. Whatever ye do, whatever ye eat, right? Whatever ye drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of the Most High. Because it's the Most High God that gave you this wealth. It's the Most High God, right? That gave you these things, right? Don't get too puffed up because the Most High God has increased you in knowledge, right? Get that out of the book of 1 Corinthians again. 1 Corinthians, the 8th chapter, and verse number 1, right? And it reads, it says, 1 Corinthians 8 and verse 1, it said, now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. Right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, knowledge puffeth up. Because the Most High God may increase you in knowledge that you prayed for. The Most High God may increase you in wisdom that you prayed for. Don't get high-minded to think that it was because of my own hand. Yeah, I got it out the mud. Yeah, I did this and I did that. You know what I'm saying? No, it's the Most High God. It's the Most High God, Yahweh. By Hashem, at the end of the day, and the beginning of the day. If it wasn't for the Most High God, Yahweh, you wouldn't have this breath of life in you. If it wasn't for the Most High God, and you wouldn't be able to see another sunlight. Right? If it wasn't for the Most High God, you wouldn't be in His truth. Those that are in His truth. If it wasn't for the Most High God, you wouldn't eat. If it wasn't for the Most High God, you'll be bugged the hell out. Right? Don't forget that knowledge puffeth up, right? Let's go to Proverbs, right? And that pride, because that's pride. And that's idolatry, man. That's breaking the commandment, because now you put yourself, and you say, yeah, it was me. I did all this. It was all me. Then the Most High God say in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, in verse number 2, that you shouldn't make any graven images. And you should have no idols before me. Hey, weren't we made of the earth? He said, not of the earth, not of the heavens, not of the seas below the earth. Loosely paraphrasing. Exodus the 20th chapter and verse number 2. Hey, when you put yourself before the Most High and you don't glorify the Lord, you say, oh, it was because of me, and you idolizing your own self. And right then and then the Most High God gonna destroy you. He's gonna put you to death. right? Because this is why right here. It's the book of Proverbs, right? It's the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter, hey, in verse number 18, hey, the classic, right? And it reads, pride go before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall, right? So, a pride go before destruction. Don't let your pride puff you up. Don't let this knowledge puff you up to the point where you get prideful and you forget that it's the Most High God that give you all these things that you have. Don't forget that, all right? But all praise to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach, Malaki Yahweh, Lord willing, y'all brothers and sisters, take this admonition, this exhortation, and remember the commandments of the Lord. Remember that it's the Most High God that give you these things. It's the Most High God. Remember and forget not. All praise to the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahshua willing, Israel, Yahshua, y'all are edified to this admonition, and y'all examine yourselves. Examine yourselves and ask yourself, hey, am I forgetting? You know, hey, don't, you know what I'm saying? Hey, am I getting too puffed up in this thing? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, are you really remembering the Lord? And are you really having fear of the Most High God? Or are you putting yourself in your own hand and you saying it's just because of me, because I got this thing, because I'm reading every day, because I'm reading over precepts every day, because I'm watching videos? It's the Most High God that puts you to watch these videos, that puts you to watch, that puts you to read. It's the Most High God that increases you in your wisdom, in your knowledge, and your understanding of this truth. It's because of the Most High God why you wake up every day knowing that you are Yasha Allah. It's the Most High God. It's not you. So don't forget that. But with that, giving a call to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach Wamalaki Yahweh, all praise to the Most High. Lord willing, Yasha Allah be edified. Shalom.